Don't shake too many hands in power. Just stick to your friends and your daps, or just stay down with your friends in the trap, or just stop what you're doing, you silly black boy. You're just another disaster. But instead, I chose to be an intellectual, college educated, internally motivated poetry
This
snapper.
is spitting. To most of us, it's spoken word or slam poetry. It's not exactly like reciting an Emily Dickinson poem in front of your AP literature teacher back in high school. It's more than that. And these guys, they're point blank. They're not exactly your average first-year poetry contestants. They're more than that. Mercer's first ever slam poetry team, whose name stands for Believing Love and Nurturing Knowledge, recently traveled to Richmond, Virginia to compete in the College Union's Poetry Slam Invitational. I caught up with them to hear about their experiences at the event. This is Virginal, Ryan, Shy, and Avery. They're 4 of the 5 that competed at the 2015 CUPSI tournament.
So CUPSI was kind of mind-blowing, considering we're coming from Macon. Like, we came from Macon and went to somewhere that's like completely different from Macon. You know, it has there's people with different mindsets and different ideologies and all of this stuff. And so I think it was really eye-opening to go there and see people and like experience people who thought differently than we did and who spit differently than we did, and you know, just wrote about different things. I thought that was it was really great to get that like cool side of the pillow perspective type thing, because it's like, you know, we're all used to the way that we spit and the way that people from Macon spit, but we're not used to the way people who aren't from Macon spit, you know. So I think that was really awesome.
Well, when I first began, you know, there was always that fear of messing up.
I'd say the hardest part is like when you get up there, there's always like the nervousness of like, oh my God, what if I forget the whole poem? I'm just standing there and everyone's staring at me.
When I get up there, you know, I'm really hyped before I get up on stage. I get up on stage and I'm like, crap, like, I'm up here in front of everybody and they're gonna be watching me and they're gonna be like expecting me to do great.
People don't realize that writer's block is definitely a thing. There are definitely times where you just don't know what you want to write about, who you want to write about, even if you know what you want to write about, you don't necessarily know how you feel about something.
100% chance that something is going to go wrong during your performance.
I definitely had to get used to being like on stage and having everybody looking at me.
Just getting over that and conveying the feelings that you felt when you wrote the piece, or conveying the feelings that you want people to feel, you know.
You just have to kind of go with it. You just let go.
On winter days in February, I feel like a burning house in the midst of snowfall. Wood screaming, attempting to hold together a foundation that was never meant to be in the first place. This was never a home. The pictures on the walls are starting to yellow. No one has moved in since you left.
Point Blank had no trouble taking first and second place in their first and second preliminary rounds, respectively. This gave them enough momentum to qualify in the semifinals. However, their dream run would end as the slam poetry juggernaut NYU edged them in that round. It's important to note, though, that NYU went on to win the whole tournament. So, what's the big deal? Point Blank lost. Well, not exactly. At the end of the week, Point Blank found themselves in the top 20 list of best slam poetry groups in the nation. Correct that, in the continent. There was a team there from Toronto. They beat out schools like Princeton, Yale, Harvard, and of course, Duke. It's always good to beat Duke. So why is this a big deal? Did I mention this was their first year as an organization? But Point Blank's purpose goes beyond making it to the top 20 lists and having bragging rights.
I've been in an assembly line my entire life. Born with an unknown expiration date stamped to my skin as brown. I've been in an assembly line my entire life with people who look just like me. We've all been blindfolded, muted, and handcuffed. No one knows their place in this line. We simply continue to move forward, not knowing the future.
This is one of the several open mics that Point Blank has hosted in the past year. This is where they practice the love and nurturing part in their name. Rather than just show themselves off to the student body, Point Blank also encourages students to participate. Whether they perform with a guitar, read poems out of their journals, or sing in a cappella, every student who gets up on stage is empowered to express themselves.
I like acceptance and diversity. I think that's a big thing that we're trying to build. Obviously, we didn't stem from that necessarily, but it's definitely something that we want to incorporate.
I kind of want to bring the focus outside of just Mercer and bring it to all of Macon. So, you know, next fall I really hope to start some initiatives to where we can actually expand and expand beyond the confines of Mercer University and start doing things. And maybe like going to high schools or like, you know, getting other colleges involved and stuff like that and make it like a Middle Georgia thing.
They're going beyond Mercer to enlighten and unite people who would never interact with each other. They're going beyond themselves to empower others to be creative and expressive. They know that to achieve their dreams of unity and empowerment, they need to go beyond poetry.